On this vote, the yeas are 206, the nays are 222. The resolution is not adopted. Without objection, motion to reconsider laid upon the table.
Republican Congresswoman Paulina Luna has left the House Freedom Caucus after they failed to support her bill that would allow House members who are new parents to vote by proxy.
I collected 218 signatures and expanded the ability to vote while recovering from childbirth, not just to mothers, but also to young fathers in our governing body. Now leadership, because of the fact that they don't like that I was successful at this, is now trying to change the rules.
Luna isn't exactly a bipartisan congressperson. She's quite MAGA, and her involvement with the House Freedom Caucus was an indication of that. But this particular bill did seem to garner a significant amount of bipartisan support, a rare occurrence these days. And coming from a Republican. Well, they are the party of family values, aren't they? They are the pro-life party. They're so pro-life that they want there to be as many new parents as possible, even people who would rather not be parents for whatever reason. So a bill that in some small way actually supports a very small number of new parents in this country should have been a shoo-in for the Republican Congresswoman. After getting 218 signatures on a discharge petition that would force a vote on the resolution, members of the House Freedom Caucus told leadership maybe we should make her get more signatures. They said the threshold was too low, so they wanted it raised after the fact. In response, Speaker Johnson agreed to try and kill the bill, holding a vote that was ultimately defeated. Just to clarify, the bill wasn't defeated. Johnson's motion to kill the bill was defeated. All Democrats voted against Johnson, as well as 9 Republicans, resulting in a final tally 222 for and 206 against. By the way, of those 9 Republicans who voted with the Democrats, apart from Luna herself, all other 8 were men. What in the internalized misogyny is happening with Republican women? Their big argument against the bill is that proxy voting is unconstitutional. Here is Speaker Johnson speaking after the vote.
Well, it's a very disappointing result on the floor there. A handful of Republicans joined with all the Democrats to take down a rule. That's rarely done. It's very unfortunate in this case. 96% of House Republicans voted against proxy voting because they believe it's unconstitutional and they agree that it would open a Pandora's box. And so that's what we just saw. Let me just make this clear. That rule being brought down means that we can't have any further action on the floor this week. That means we will not be voting on the SAVE Act for election integrity. We will not be voting on the rogue judges who are attacking President Trump's agenda. We will not be taking down these terrible Biden policies with the CRA votes. All that was just wiped off the table. It's very unfortunate. We'll regroup and come back and we'll have to do this again.
A member of the caucus, Representative Chip Roy, posted on X last week arguing against Luna's bill, saying, "Respectfully to my friend, this unconstitutional rule would ultimately not be limited to moms, cancer patients, dads, and worst of all, people who lazily abuse it, e.g. voting from boats. She leaves out her discharge allows no amendments. We should show up to work/vote." In response, Luna clarified that her resolution is in fact limited to new parents and that it includes parameters that would not allow for congresspeople to abuse the resolution as her colleague suggested. This issue is close to Luna because she recently had a baby herself, so as many have already pointed out, this is just typical Republican behavior where they don't actually care about an issue until it affects them directly. And the scope of Luna's bill is really, really small and very specific in scale. It's not saying that new parents should be able to vote by proxy in elections. It's saying that congresspeople who are new parents should be able to vote for congressional votes by proxy. Essentially, that they should be able to work remotely for 12 weeks following the birth of their child. Republican voters who are against the bill seem to be against it on the grounds that this is how things have always been and they cannot possibly be changed, even if our modern times call for changes to be made. They say that women like Luna should choose between either being a mother or serving in Congress. I've seen them call Republicans who support the bill Bush Republicans and not MAGA Republicans, which I guess is an insult for them. And they're calling Democrats who support the bill lazy because they just want to work from home. Working from home, by the way, is still working. There's nothing lazy about it. In fact, many proponents of working from home report that they are better able to tend to their homes and to their families while still getting their work done. Again, the party of strong family values should celebrate something like that. Additionally, with the technology that's available today, there's far less reason than there was in the past for Congresspeople to leave their congressional districts just to go cast a vote in Washington, D.C., something that can easily be done remotely, by proxy, by telephone, digitally, however. It makes more sense that voting would happen this way now that it can happen this way, because it actually would keep Congresspeople home in the congressional districts that they are supposed to be representing. I understand that a lot of negotiating and debating and whipping needs to happen in advance of these votes over there in Washington, D.C., but I don't think that's enough of a reason for the party of family values to keep new parents away from their babies. Where there's a will, there is a way. They're just making excuses because they don't want it to happen. They act like it's impossible and unthinkable, which makes no sense because the House was using proxy voting during the pandemic. It's already been done. And while Luna specified in her bill that it would apply to new parents as opposed to just new mothers, since she was a woman putting the bill forward, many took Republican opposition to the bill to be an attack on women in Congress. Maybe that part is more in line with Republican thinking. Keep the women at home with their babies and out of Congress. And definitely don't do anything to make things easier or more accommodating for the women already in Congress. Also, maybe think twice about voting for a woman next time one is running for Congress in your district, because who knows, maybe she'll decide to have a baby and then she won't be able to actually represent you. In response to the vote and the betrayal of her caucus members, Luna had this to say: "I've approached this entire process with honesty and integrity, doing things the right way. Unfortunately, some members of the House Freedom Caucus have threatened to shut down the floor if the Speaker allows my proxy vote discharge petition to be considered. As a result, it's likely I will no longer be a member of the Freedom Caucus. I will not compromise on something as important as ensuring new moms can vote while recovering. I believe this change will improve the institution in the long term. The conduct explained in the tweet below is not what we agreed to as a conference, and I will continue to be transparent with the American people about what's really happening behind the scenes." Back to Speaker Johnson, he is having a rough week. Since his attempt to block Luna's bill failed, he canceled all other votes this week. But he didn't have to. He made it seem as though this was a matter of procedure. Here is Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett putting things into more context. She said, "So Speaker Johnson threw a tantrum today and canceled votes for the rest of the week because he couldn't wrangle enough support to block new parents from voting in Congress. I guess when you don't get your way, you just shut it down and send everyone home. The American people didn't elect us to pout." So Luna is out of the House Freedom Caucus, it looks like, and it also looks like optimistically she might be in the middle of learning some hard lessons about the people and the party she's chosen to align herself with. However, she's only mad at the caucus, not at the party that, apart from 8 of her male colleagues, also did not support her. Make no mistake, Luna has taken some very MAGA and very pro-Trump stances. Still, she has co-sponsored bipartisan bills, including one with AOC. Also, back in the day before her big MAGA makeover, she was once a Democrat who supported Obama. So I suppose a flip from Luna wouldn't be the craziest thing to happen because it's already happened once, but she'll have to first break free of her Republican identity, and it doesn't seem as though she's quite ready for all of that. At that point, the question will be, will the Democrats be ready or willing to accept her? All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.